Okay, good morning. So last night was pretty straightforward. We tried to do some star trails. That was a bit of a failure. I know what to do now, so we'll try again tonight. Stunning morning, check this out. Not particularly cold, about 9 degrees this morning I think it was. Dressed for the occasion, of course. And now we're busy packing up. So for me, pack up involves obviously the bedding gets removed, and then the mattresses get rolled up, then the tent gets broken down and that gets packed away. The tent goes on top there, the stretcher back into its bag, that goes back into the back of the van, and that is my sort of camp setup broken up. Obviously, like this, it's easy, you just make your bed and close it. So we're always waiting for me in the mornings. There's our table. And this is what we woke up to, guys. Fabulous stuff. The plan tonight, no plan. We don't know what campsites are accessible. We're going to go and look and going to go drive around. But it does appear that my intentions of having a awesome YouTube video about our trip are going to be a bit of a failure, because half the places I wanted to go you can't get to. So I'm hoping the water subsided a bit. At least maybe we can go and look at the campsites we were supposed to stay at last night. We shall see. So we're going to cook some food quickly for lunch and dinner. So we're using this stainless steel oven tray that we got from George from Trans Africa Self-Drive Adventures. Check them out online. So into that's going to go carrots, onion, potato, sweet potato and chicken. That will then cook while we're driving, and we've got a bit of driving to do today. So it should be about a 3-hour slow cook, and then it's going to be First thing we're going to do is just remove all the horrible pieces from the potatoes. Carrots. So this gets no spices because the chicken that we're using comes with a Moroccan marinade, and that'll be plenty spice enough for us. So all I do is you just open the bag, right, you're just going to set the chicken out like so, and then in about 3 hours we're chowing. If you're getting upset that I'm using my open hands and no gloves, don't worry, you don't have to eat it. Right, so I'm back with my freshly washed hands. We're going to now take that goes in, and that's what the dish looks like, all very nice. You just close them up, done, temperature to 180, timer for 2 hours, and then in about an hour and a half we check and we extend the timer again and you leave that at 180, and it's going to tick away, drawing about 10 amps as it goes along, which is not an issue while we're driving because we have all the necessary equipment to keep the battery fully charged. See you later. So the part that you don't typically see on a video is the cleanup parts. So this all gets put into a packet now, and it'll get stashed in the dustbin. So that's cleaned up. This now goes into the dustbin, because on the Eco Trail, although there's no wild animals like elephants to worry about, so you don't have to stress about your vegetable scraps, etc., you're not allowed to leave stuff here. That is not the right thing to do. So you don't leave your rubbish lying around. Take it out with you, and at your earliest convenience dispose of it. And the same can be said for beverage tins. Get rid of them. And we use this little can crusher here from Alucab because it really makes, one, getting rid of them easier, because now it's a lot smaller, and two, it's cool, man. Super cool. Right, we're going to pack up. Something I wasn't going to show you, but I figured it's not too stupid, so it could help somebody else, is when you're using a spare wheel dustbin like this, ours is custom made, I like to separate clean plastic waste. That goes there. Our tins go into another bag. And then this is what I call soiled waste. So it's got organic matter on it, the vegetable cuttings, the chicken marinated packets. We aren't in a position to wash this where we are. We don't have enough water for that. So I put this together, and then any further waste that's organic will go into here. And then I do it like this purely because then if we get to a dustbin and there's not much space and we can only pick one thing to throw away, it's always this stuff first. It's what stinks the most. So by separating it, you can choose what you discard, and you can choose what you have to keep if you need to keep something. It might help somebody else one day. That's how we do it. You don't want that stuff sitting in here baking in the sun for 5 days. It gets quite rough. So this is part of Eco Trail that I would say not many people get to experience. The negative side, the flooding, blocked off some campsites. The very positive side is we're forced to use alternative routes like this one, and just look how green it is. It's unbelievable. It's breathtakingly beautiful. This is where we were supposed to end up last night. And I'm actually, you know what, let's be real. I'm so glad we didn't come here last night. This is what I'm talking about. Take your shit with you. So I assume that's the great milkwood tree, but there's a little bit of water here, man, guys. So we're going to leave here. We had a quick little breakfast. It's a very nice campsite, really is. Our one last night, the wild one, was far superior, but it was still cool to come here and see. This was accessible via the detour road, which took us about an hour's drive, hour and a half. We're going to now try and travel along the river to what would have been tomorrow night's campsite called Ramansdrift. If we can get there, great. If not, we'll backtrack and head up the road we've come on, and then pretty much just keep moving until we find another wild camp. It's already 10 to 10. So we're doing okay. We did find evidence of somebody else in the campsite last night at this Grootmelkhoutboom, and they must be about I would say an hour ahead of us. The coals of their fire were uncovered, it's still warm. So that's not cool, guys. When you leave camp, cover your coals with some sand. But other than that, it's beautiful to see the amount of flowers that are here. These little yellow flowers, check this. So for me, that's unbelievably stunning, the contrast from those to the mountains. So we've shifted about 100 meters up. The road adjacent to the river, which is the road that we were supposed to go on, there's just too much water. And again, we're the only car in our group. We don't have a group, it's just us. So being a single vehicle, if we get stuck and we are unable to recover ourselves, it's not a healthy way of traveling. So we're gonna just take the easiest route that provides us with the best sightseeing, which is what we're on now. The river is just over here where the green belt is. There's a troop of baboons that have just run across the little flower section there. Some very big fellows there. Just shows you guys this is a wild place. If you are here, be very mindful of what you do with your food, because those oaks will get into just about anything. In terms of directions, I'll be honest, we've not used the map provided for more than 5 minutes. We've kind of looked at Tracks for Africa on the GPS, the normal Garmin route on the GPS, and then Gaia Maps is phenomenal for this place. It's not a cheap app to get, especially if you're just getting it for this trip. Currently it's 1,200 Rand for a year subscription, but there are ways and means of using it with the free version where you can still figure your way around. So the road ends here again, unfortunately, and this is why they said Ramansdrift was probably closed as well. Tire tracks are here, and I assume you cruised your way around and you would have gone up here, because if you're going to take a look, let me show you what I found. This is a pretty chill drive, but there's tire tracks as high as here, where guys have avoided that rock and they've ticked over, and I assume when it's not in flood like this, you would have moved a little bit back into where the water is. There's tire tracks over here, and driven out and through there. But this water's moving, which is another problem. It's not just stagnant. So you don't know what the ground surface underneath is like. It could be deep, it could be shallow, but chances are it's not going to be wise to try this with only one vehicle. Had I had one of my mates here with us, I would have definitely given it a bash, because to winch out is so quick and easy. But in any case, here we are. Yeah, okay, so now I'm going to get down from this bloody rock. It's a long way down. Let's not for the one thing I like about my fillies is they grip better than any tacky I have ever seen. Only on rocks. You walk on wet grass or soft grass with these things and you see your bum. Ask me, I know. Oh, check out, this is all salt, eh? So this is not, look at this. This is just soft powder. It's incredible, watch it. Not that one, this one. So this is what you're driving on. Look at this erosion, unbelievable. But it's so soft. Incredible, beautiful landscape. Okay, so a quick little stop to check our chow. So we've got timer is off, so the timer needs to go back on for, I would say, 80 more minutes just to get everything nice. Let's just turn it down slightly. Not going to take it out and lose all that beautiful heat that we built up, but those wondering, it's fully insulated. I can touch all over here. The only warm part's the door, but that I can still leave my hand on. It is hot, but it's not going to hurt me, so you don't need to worry about it. It's even kid safe. So we're still charging with everything running, keeping all the fridges cold, the road chef on. We are charging at 179 watts. This is not the best. It's nice sunshine, but it's also not our peak sunshine as we change seasons. So we have a 300 watt panel, so as the day goes that'll increase more. We're sitting on 71% now, so probably just after lunch we'll be full. Perfection. I'm a big believer in an adventure like this is what you make of it. If you choose to spend your whole day in the car driving the trails and just looking out the window, so be it. If you choose to get out and explore and look at things that interest you, even better. Like now, I've seen that tree. I want to see that tree, so now I'm gonna go walk there. And in the process of doing that, I noticed this beautiful quartz everywhere. Wherever you see a little glint of sunlight that's on the reflecting off the quartz, you get to see cool stuff. That's why we do this. Yo, that was so cool. There's some baboons there. Look at them running. Wow. That's interesting. Oh, wow, guys, I got no words. I mean, this is so beautiful. Look at all that quartz. Incredible. Yo, it's incredible, eh? At the moment, we are on our way to Ramansdrift. Now, that was another campsite in the email we received that was said to be inaccessible and closed. However, we're going to go and have a look. We are through, I would say, possibly a small fraction of our own fault a day early on every booking. But it is what it is. The bookings were made. It's life. So what we're doing is, there is somebody in front of us. We're not sure where, we're not sure who, we're not sure where they're going. But it's possible we'll arrive at a campsite that they are going to be at, and legitimately so perhaps, because we were only supposed to be at Ramansdrift tomorrow night. And if that is the case, we'll go camp in the mountains somewhere and wild camp. We're not too worried about it. I wouldn't want to say that I am expressly advising you to go and do that. I'm not sure about the legalities and whether or not it's actually allowed or permissible on the trail to kind of go and camp wherever you feel like. I know largely it is spoken about like it's the norm, but I don't want to come on here and tell someone to do something and then someone says, but that's not what it's supposed to happen. So I'm telling you to do what you need to do to enjoy your trip. We've paid for 5 nights on the trail. So in my mind, whether I spend 5 nights at designated campsites or 5 nights camping next to a rock, I actually don't care. I've paid to be here, so I'll be here. That's my logic. Whether that works for you, that is your business. But that's what we're doing. So we're going to go and look at Ramansdrift, like we went and looked at Grootmelkhoutboom. And then we'll probably leave there and go and see if we can find a spot called Good House and have a look at that as well. So something I just spotted now, I thought we'd quickly come and put it on the video. Check in the rock, there's that light stripe that runs all the way up. I'm not a geologist, but I think it's like, it looks like a vein of different colored rock. Could be quartz, the makings of, but a complete different coloration to the surrounding rock. You can see more of it here, a tiny bit there, but that's a nice look at it there. That's so cool. So we are approaching Ramansdrift campsite now. You can see the orange river in front of us. Not sure how flooded this campsite will be, but we're about to find out. Despite best intentions, the wind had other plans. Let's go and fetch the air in this one. So at this moment, this campsite is definitely accessible. I do believe perhaps a week or so ago it could have been worse. The river is quite high. But yeah, this is easily accessible currently, and there is so much space here. I see across the gully here is a grave. I wonder if that's not Raman, and that's why they called it his drift. But yeah, there is a ton of space here.
Other side is
you can even, yeah, you can go up onto the other side as well. There's a fork in the road. So it's a pretty cool spot. In terms of camping, I would say down there's a nice section, bit of shade over here. Up top here where we are now, it's a gentle breeze blowing, but I do think if the wind picked up, it could be quite miserable up here. I would definitely say down there where you semi-sheltered is a better spot for a Ramansdrift. But check how fast that river's flowing, my word. Right, so we're gonna check how our dinner is going, but before you can take out that dish, you've got to protect the hands. Because it can become hot.
Don't drop it on the floor.
I'm trying my absolute best not to drop it. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Coming on nicely.
Okay.
Smells awesome.
I would go as far as saying that Ooh. Oh yeah, that's done. Oh, look at that. Check this. Can you see that?
Ooh. Delicious.
Stunning. Can you believe it? We have oncoming vehicles. First people we've seen on the trail so far. So we're onto a large graded road. There seems to be some sort of power lines here. So on Gaia we are approaching Goodhouse now. We're probably 2.5 k's from there.
Have a quick drive around here.
So this is Goodhouse. It looks like a bad house currently.
Have Isuzu all travel?
No, that's not Isuzu, bro. That's an Isuzu was. But there are people living here.
All these buildings are like a gang.
There's one Bob John.
Hey, Bob John, small one. Fervet. That house is now no longer. Palm trees have been killed.
Drifted off from the Goodhouse there. We're making our way to that Goodhouse there. And we will see what awaits us. The corrugations here are quite wild, but it's no worse than any other roads that we've travelled. So I take that back. This section of road approaching that settlement is the worst corrugations that we have encountered the trip so far. It doesn't matter whether you go fast or whether you go slow. It comes in waves, so it's either now like it is now where it's nothing, or it just rattles your teeth loose. So at camp this afternoon when it's a bit cooler, I'll go around and just do a quick inspection and make sure everything's still tight. So that says Takalani Creche. Take it the kids all left. They seem to have power, yeah? Little satellite jobby. This seems to be this is probably the new Goodhouse. I do think that that first section we passed could have been the old place, which has been then moved. But this looks like the current. This is the most built up section of infrastructure we've seen since we started the Eco Trail and left Klein Pella. It says, it's got a sign here that says Camel Rock. So you can see when you get to people, you get to problems. And the more people, the more problems. There's litter all over the place here. So there's a little bit of signal. I'm able to send the missus a message and just let her know we're still alive. But yeah, as we said, with people come problems. All the litter that's just left lying around here. Not that there's a lot that they can do with it themselves out here. That's mostly glass bottles and stuff like that, which is not easy to burn. That was that large settlement of Goodhouse. Random information: if you do have Vodacom, you will get enough signal to make a call, send a basic SMS and maybe a WhatsApp text message. The signal is not great for much else. You're not going to be able to park off there and upload videos and carry on like you normally would like to. But in the event of an emergency, it is definitely a viable option to head that side, and you can definitely get comms there. I have no doubt people there would be friendly. So we've had to deviate yet again, leave Goodhouse, find our way back to this unnamed district sort of road. This is not really part of the Eco Trail route. We are using this road as a bypass route to get back onto Eco Trail for us to head down to the campsite called Kamgub and assess that one for feasibility for us staying there tonight. That is the plan. We'll see how far we get.